Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about something that makes me cringe every time I see it on Reddit threads or YouTube comment sections or anywhere else people really talk about sim racing. And that's the thought of buy once, cry once. Now, for those that don't know, buy once, cry once refers to buying high-end sim equipment so you don't need to buy multiple sets of wheels, pedals, and other equipment needed for sim racing. Now, I understand that nearly everybody who gives that advice is coming from a good place, right? It comes from a place of don't waste your money. And on the surface, that's fair enough, right? My issue with buy one, cry once is that there are two major flaws to me or issues with this line of thinking. The first one is that sim racing equipment is pretty expensive. While there's a cost to everything, right? Telling people to only buy their end goal equipment when they start can create a huge barrier to entry. Buying only the best and highest end equipment would definitely be nice, but if you're waiting on those Hoisingfeld's Ultimate pedals to pair with your Simicube Ultimate base and your Porsche 911 RSR wheel, you're looking at over $6,000 worth of equipment already, and you don't even have a place to put them, or a place to sit, or a triple monitor setup, or do you see what I'm getting at here? Everybody starts somewhere, and while I've been able to upgrade my setup to have a dedicated rig and some nicer SimMagic gear, at this point I started out like most everyone else, on a G29 with a wheel stand, playing Gran Turismo and the F1 games on my PS4. And that setup is plenty good enough for you to get your sim racing fix in and to get you into the hobby. In fact, some of the fastest drivers on iRacing are still using G29s. Just because you have higher end equipment doesn't necessarily mean that you'll be faster or more competitive. And that brings me to my second issue with buy once, cry once. What if you turn out not to enjoy sim racing? Most of the people that give that advice to buy once, cry once have been in the hobby for years and years. And sure, maybe starting with a Fanatec or a Moses setup as a slight upgrade to start isn't a horrible idea, but do you really want to sink thousands of dollars or thousands of euros into a hobby that you might not even have time to enjoy? Buying small to start out gives you the opportunity to try out sim racing to see if it's even for you. For me personally, sim racing gives me a competitive outlet that's hard to get otherwise once you're out of competitive sports. Gives you a level of immersion and the feeling that for a brief moment you get to drive the cars that you see on TV that you'd never otherwise get the opportunity to. But there is a flip side. What if life changes suddenly take your time in other places? What if your interests just change? What do you do with this equipment if your passion for sim racing dies out? It's much easier to resell and move on from an entry-level setup than it is to sell a multi-$1,000 one with a heavy dedicated sim racing cockpit. And if you do turn out to enjoy sim racing, there's always the option to upgrade down the line if that's what you decide to do. As a sim racer and somebody who enjoys being a part of this community, I don't want an already expensive hobby to be seen as unattainable for entry-level players. What do you guys think? If you could start your sim racing journey all over again, would your buying patterns be different? Would you save up for that ultimate goal setup or start with an entry-level setup to get yourself started? In general, do you subscribe to the buy once, cry once theory? Let me know what you think down in the comments. And if you're interested in seeing me put some of this equipment to good use, check out the video on screen now. As always, we'll see you out on track.